So welcome everybody to this latest video on 162 Maths, and in this video we'll be going over a topic test on the higher syllabus relating to measure and units. Now there will be a copy of the question paper in the description below for you to download and have an attempt at before watching this video and going through the answers. So let's get started on this higher topic test on measures. So looking at question 1, it's asking us to convert 2 meters squared to square centimeters, and we've got 4 options and we need to circle the correct one. Now for these types of questions, whenever you are wanting to convert units, particularly square units or volume units, I always recommend that you draw a shape that gives you that area or volume. So for example, if I draw a rectangle with an area of 2 meters, so let's go for 2 times 1, and that's 1 meter and that's 2 meters. Now because I want to convert it into centimeters, I'm going to convert these two lengths into centimeters. So 1 meter is 100 centimeters and 2 meters is 200 centimeters. So all I then need to do is do 100 times 200, and that's going to give me 1 times 2, which is 2, and I've got 4 zeros, and so that gives me the correct answer of 20,000. Now with question 2, I've got to convert if 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters, convert 127 square centimeters into square inches. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a shape that gives me an area of 127 centimeters squared. So it doesn't really matter, it doesn't need to be accurate, so I'm going to go for 127 centimeters, and I've got 1 centimeter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert each of these two lengths into inches. So for this, I'm going to do 127 divided by 2.54. And if I type that into my calculator, which I'm going to do right now, so 127 divided by 2.54 gives me an answer of 50. So that's 50 inches. And 1 centimeter, 1 divided by 2.54 is going to give me an answer of quite not a nice, so some number. It's basically going to give me 0.393 and then a few decimals inches. Now for this, all I then need to do is multiply those two numbers together. So here I've got 50 times 0.393 and then add a few numbers if I wanted to, 700. And if I do just that, I get an answer of 19.6850. So what's my answer going to be then? Just round this up, I'm going to go for 19.7 square inches, and that's to 1 decimal place. For question 3, it says Adam's weight to the nearest kilogram is 65 kilograms. What is the greatest possible value of his weight? So for this, again, looking at in terms of rounding, I've got 1 kilogram, so divide that by 2. So I'm going to add and subtract half a kilogram. So here I've got 65 plus and minus 0.5. So if I take it away, or the greatest possible value, I need to add it. So that's going to be 65.5. And the least possible weight is where I take it away. So it's going to be 64.5. Moving on to question 4, it says convert 24,000 centimeter cubes or cube centimeters into meter cubes. So again, what I need to do is, because it's related to volume, if I just draw a shape, cuboid or a cube is probably the easiest, and I want to try and get a volume of 24,000. So if I go for quite simple, 24 times 10 is 240, and then I just need to times that by 100, and that will give me 24,000. So with these, all these measurements are in centimeters. So if I then convert each of these numbers into meters, so this is going to be 0.24 meters, that's going to be 0.1 meter, and that's going to be 1 meter. Then all I then need to do is just simply multiply those orange numbers together, and I should get the correct answer of 0.024. So moving on to question 5, it says Tom's car travels 40 miles per gallon. 1 litre of petrol costs £1.19, which is ridiculously cheap. 1 gallon equals 4.5 litres, and the question is asking us to work out the cost of petrol when Tom travels 200 miles. So for this question, what we need to do first is work out how many gallons do we need to travel 200 miles. So 200 miles, and if I divide that by 40 equals, and it's going to be 5 gallons. So what I need is 5 gallons of petrol. Now obviously the petrol cost is given in per litre. So I need to work out how many litres there are in 5 gallons. So I do that by multiplying it by 4.5, and 5 times 4.5 gives me an answer of 22.5 litres. So then what I then need to do is multiply that by £1.19, and if I do just that, I get my final answer of £26.77.5. So rounding that up, I get 26.78. So moving on to question 6, it says, in a race, Alex runs at an average speed of 10 kilometers per hour. Lucy runs an average speed of 3 meters per second. Who runs faster? And you need to show our working out. So for this, what we need to do is we need to find the comparable units. So we know that Alex would run 10 kilometers in 1 hour. So what we need to do is we need to find out, well, how many meters or how many kilometers would Lucy run if she did run for 1 hour at a constant speed. So here she's running 3 meters per second. So we just write in A. So then in 1 minute, if I times that by 60, she's going to run 180 meters in 1 minute. Which then means that if I times that by 60 again, I'll see how far she runs in 1 hour. So 180 times 60 is 10800 meters in 1 hour. So if we then convert this into kilometers, which is going to be 10.8 kilometers in 1 hour, then what we can do is we can now compare it. So Alex runs 10 kilometers in 1 hour. Lucy would run 10.8 kilometers in 1 hour. So who's running faster? Lucy is. Then for our final question, question 7, it says that the mass of a block of wood is 750 grams. The mass is given to 2 significant figures. The volume of a block is 1,500 centimeter cubed, and the volume is given to the nearest 10. Now there's a bit of an error there, so I'm going to guess that's going to be centimeter cubed. And given that density equals mass over volume, work out the smallest possible value of the block's density. So for this, to get our smallest possible value, what I need is the smallest number at the top divided by the biggest number at the bottom, and that will give us our smallest density. So because mass is at the top, I want to write this. I want the biggest version of this. So to 2 significant figures, it's basically been rounded to the nearest 10. So then the biggest value that the mass is going to be 750 plus or minus 5. So then it's going to be 755. So then we've got 7. We want the smallest rather, so I just want 745. Now for the bottom, I want the biggest possible value. So here, against the nearest 10, so I'm going to have 1500 plus or minus 5. So then I want the biggest number at the bottom. So the biggest is going to be 1505. And then working that out, 745 divided by 1505 on my calculator, I get an answer of 0.49501666113, and then just rounding that up, let's do it to 3 sig fig. So I'm going to get 0.495, and that's to 3 decimal places, or 3 sig fig, whichever floats your boat. And there is our final answer.